finish the project!
Yes, power of we! Amazing work, team.
Okay, so if you're a leader, I'm willing to bet you've asked yourself this question 1,000 times. How do I get sustainable high performance from my team? Well, the answer isn't about finding one hero to save the day. It's about building a system that makes everyone stronger together. Let's break down how to do just that.
Does this sound familiar? That feeling of having to carry the entire team on your back? You know, it shows incredible courage for sure. But it's also a massive, flashing warning light on your leadership dashboard. It means your team's success depends entirely on one person's heroics. And that, my friends, is just not built to last.
So where does all that pressure even come from? Well, take a look at this. This data from Microsoft is kind of staggering. The average person spends 57% of their workday just communicating. That's more than half our time stuck in what you could call coordination noise. You know, the endless meetings, emails, and chats that leave only 43% of the day for the actual creative work we were hired to do. And get this, the problem isn't getting better. It's actually getting worse. The number of weekly meetings has literally tripled since early 2020. That just means more noise and even less time to focus. Trying to be a hero in that kind of environment, it's not just exhausting, it's a losing battle. We need a totally different approach.
All right, so that brings us to the core idea of this whole explainer. It's about making a shift, a big one, moving away from individual heroics and toward what we'll call a human-first operating system. It's all about intentionally designing a new way to work, one that builds strength right into the team itself.
So what's really stopping us? What's getting in the way of that high performance we're all chasing? Well, it's that coordination noise we just talked about. It's fuzzy goals. It's a lack of consistent feedback. It's the chaos that just naturally creeps in when you don't have a shared system. But what if we could actually design that chaos away?
This quote from Donald Fleming of M360 Leader just nails it. Strength isn't a solo act, it's a design choice. Your job as a leader isn't to be the strongest person in the room, it's to be the architect of a system that makes everyone strong.
And look, this whole idea of designing a system, it's not just some fluffy concept. It becomes real with practical tools. For example, a complete ecosystem like M360's gives you specific tools for specific jobs, one for aligning the team on results, one for continuous feedback, an app for building good habits, and even one just for taming your meetings. Let's see what this looks like when it's put to work. Okay, let's talk about a real-world example. This is the story of a leader named Anna and her operations team. They had a fantastic product, but their execution? It was all over the place, chaotic and super inconsistent. Here's how a systems approach completely turned things around for them.
Just look at the difference here. The before and after is, wow. I mean, they went from long, fuzzy meetings and spotty feedback to a totally new reality. Meetings were literally cut in half, from 90 minutes down to 45. Weekly feedback became the norm, and the bottom line, key metrics like on-time orders improved dramatically. This wasn't magic. It was intentional design. And here's the recipe for how they did it. It wasn't some big secret. It was a clear 12-week process. First, they used a program focused on leadership, people, and results, or LPR, to get everyone aligned. Then, they mapped out who owned what. Third, they built tiny, repeatable habits. And finally, they brought some serious discipline to their meetings. This is a playbook that any team can follow.
I absolutely love this quote from executive coach Pascal Dubois because it gets to the human side of all this. When a system gives people clarity and a real sense of progress, something amazing happens. They feel empowered. They feel confident. Their courage shows up. The system handles the logistics, which frees up your people to do their absolute best work.
Okay, so we get the problem, and we've seen the solution in action with Anna's team. Now let's bring it all home. Let's make this about you. This next part is a super practical plan for moving from just understanding these ideas to actually putting them into action.
This slide right here, this is a powerhouse. It's a tool you can literally use in your next leadership huddle. It maps common leadership challenges directly to a solution and a metric. So for example, if your problem is fuzzy objectives, the tool is that LPR program, and you start measuring the percentage of goals with the clear owner. If meetings without impact is your pain point, you use a meeting tool and start tracking average meeting length. The key is connecting your biggest headaches to concrete actions and results you can actually see. And why does all this matter for the bottom line? I mean, really? Well, the data from Gallup is crystal clear.
Highly engaged teams, the kind of teams these systems create, they aren't just happier, they are 23% more profitable and 18% more productive. This isn't just about feelings, it's about fundamental business results.
All right, now let's talk about why a structured system for things like feedback is so critical. A study from Harvard Business Review found that a whopping 95% of people believe they're self-aware.
But the reality? Brace yourself. It's actually only 10 to 15%. That enormous gap is exactly why we can't just cross our fingers and hope for good communication to happen. We have to design a system that closes that gap and makes feedback a reliable, structured part of how we all work.
So how do you even start? Here's a simple week-by-week plan. Week 1, just decide what really matters. Name 3 key outcomes. Week 2, publish those goals and define who owns what. Week 3, it's all about setting a couple of new, trackable habits for your managers. And in week 4, you coach your leaders on how to have effective check-ins. See, it's not about boiling the ocean. It's about small, deliberate steps.
And it is so important to remember this. At the end of those 30 days, you're not done. Not even close. The real goal is to be together, to have a shared foundation and a new way of working that makes the whole team stronger than any one person could ever be on their own.
This quote really captures the entire philosophy, a philosophy that a partner like M360 has built its reputation on with over 15 years of experience. This isn't just about giving you information to think about. It's about sparking a change. It's a call to move from knowing to doing. It's about activating the incredible potential that's already sitting right there in your team.
So we'll leave you with this one crucial question. Right now, is your team's performance left to chance and individual heroics? Or are you ready to make a design choice, to build a system that unlocks the collective strength of everyone? The choice is yours.